Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about renewing your Nigerian passport in Canada, from all the documents you need to the entire process step by step, the cost implications, and tips and tricks on how to navigate the entire process seamlessly. If you are considering renewing your passport anytime soon, stay right there, don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Hamida and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber based in Toronto, Canada. On my channel, you'll find videos about living in Canada, vlogs, and story times. If this is your first time here, hey girl, hey guy, welcome to the family. Please consider subscribing down below to join this beautiful family. If you are an existing subscriber, thank you for always coming back to watch my video. Without further ado, let's get right into the reason why we are here today. So if you want to renew your Nigerian passport in Canada, there's only one place to go, and that is the Nigerian High Commission in Canada. So regardless of your province in Canada, we only have one High Commission, i.e. one embassy in the entire Canada, and it is located in Ottawa in the province of Ontario. So I'm guessing your passport is about to expire, right? I mean, for you to be able to renew your passport, you need at most a 6 months validity on your passport, meaning that you cannot renew your passport if you have more than 6 months validity. But if you have less than 6 months validity on your passport, then you can go ahead to renew your passport. You can also, apply for a passport for the first time, i.e. you are a Nigerian Canadian and you've always had a Canadian passport or another nationality passport, and you are based in Canada and you want to renew, or you want to apply for a new passport for the first time. You'll also find information about that here. So first of all, you want to go to the Nigerian High Commission in Ottawa website. I'm going to link all the websites links that you need for this entire video in the description box. So you're going to go ahead to the link, and it's pretty explanatory. You click on the option that applies to you. There's the option for renewal. There's the option for applying for the first time. There's the option for change of name. There's the option for mistakes and lost passport and all of that. Feel free to choose the one that applies to you. In this case, I am talking about renewal. So you're going to click renew your passport, right? So once you go ahead and click that link, there are a couple of forms that you are going to fill, and most importantly, as of December 2022, when I registered for mine, for context, I captured for my passport February of 2023. However, I booked the appointments December of 2022. So as of December 2022, it is mandatory for you to have your NIN, which is your Nigerian Identification Number or something like that. Basically, the equivalence of your Canadian Social Insurance Number. So Nigeria also has theirs, and it is called your NIN. So as of December last year, it is mandatory for you to have your NIN to be able to apply for a passport. Be it renewal or fresh application, you must have your national insurance number. Or is it national? You must have your NIN. Okay. So I don't have info on how to go about that currently, but I'm sure that if you go on Google, you find out how to get your NIN if you don't have it. But if you already have your NIN, let's proceed. So basically, you're going to go ahead and fill out all the forms that you have on the website. You fill in the form, it typically asks for your name, your address in Nigeria, your address in Canada, your next of kin, your NIN, your old passport number, and basically your phone number, your email address, all of those basic contact information. Then the final point will be the payment part. It's going to ask you to pay. So once you click pay now, it's going to accept your credit cards, your debit cards, whatever type of cards. The amount is in USD, so be very careful. The amount that you see there is in USD. While filling the form, it's going to ask you if you want a 32 page or a 64 page. We heard the announcement about the 10-year passport, but as of when I applied for mine, it wasn't available online. I also checked before I filmed this video. I tried to create a fresh application and I still didn't find the option of 10 years passport. So it's safe to say that you're stuck with the 5-year passport, okay? So I applied for the 5-year passport for 32 pages, and the total cost came to $142 US, and when it was debited from my Canadian card, it was 200 Canadian dollars that was debited for the application. Okay, so the moment you make payment, you're going to get 2 documents. You're going to get, of course, a couple of emails saying that your application was received. You get another email saying that your payment was successful, and once your payment is successful, you're then going to get, even actually on the website, you see a link to print 2 documents, which is your payment slip and your acknowledgement slip. It is also going to be emailed to you at some point. However, you must save those 2 documents, whether it's emailed to you or whether you go ahead to print it on the portal. So if for some weird reason you don't get the email, feel free to log in again to your portal. You'll see a link right there to download your payment slip and your acknowledgement slip. Also on that page, which I'm going to link down below, you're going to see the the guidelines step by step of the entire process up until payment. It is very explanatory. I can put a screenshot right here for you to see, but I'm also going to put the link to the page in the description box. So if you feel confused at any point in time, feel free to read all the info on that page. Okay, so once you've paid and you've gotten your payment slip and your acknowledgement slip, you're going to get an email confirmation, right? Because after you pay, you get a link to say book your appointment, right? So then you're going to go ahead and book your appointment, choose the day that best works for you. Bear in mind that the embassy isn't open on bank holidays or public holidays, so make sure that you do not choose a date that is a public holiday, okay? And obviously do not choose a weekend, because the embassy is only opened Monday to Friday. So once you've booked your appointment, you're going to get an email confirmation with your appointment date and your details, okay? And actually, when you get the email confirming your appointment, is going to list all the things that you need to bring to the embassy, and I'm telling you, that is all you need to take to the embassy. So the list is very detailed about what you need to take to the embassy, but I'm going to go over everything that you need and how to go about it. So the first thing on that list is your passport interview invitation email, right? So that email that confirms your appointment, you're going to go ahead and print that and take it with you to the embassy. So the other thing you need is a copy of your passport application form, right? So when you're done filling all of those forms, you're also going to save or print your passport application form, meaning the form that you used to enter all your contact details right before you made payment. So you're going to need to print the passport application form as well. Number 3 that you need is your payment slip and your acknowledgement slip. Like I said earlier, you're going to need your payment and acknowledgement slip. That's going to be emailed to you, or you can also print them out from the portal, okay? So number 4, you need your current passport, right? Because you're renewing, obviously you have an old passport, right? So you're going to need the original passport and also a photocopy of the biodata page of the old passport. So here's the thing: if you go ahead to the embassy without the photocopy of your biodata page, they're not going to collect it from you. So you're just going to waste your time. So please make sure that every document that you are asked to bring is correctly accounted for and taken to the embassy, okay? So you're going to go ahead and make a photocopy of your old passport data page. Next thing you need is 2 current passport photographs. Okay, so you need 2 current passport photographs. If you are in, there's Shoppers Drug Mart everywhere in Canada. You can basically just go to Google and search for photo studio near me, or just go to Shoppers or your Walmart and ask them to take you a passport photograph for Nigerian embassy. Okay, so the specification is also online. If they don't have it, they'll check it. But where I did mine, in Shoppers, they had the Nigerian passport specification. So I just said I wanted the passport for Nigerian embassy, and they went ahead to take my picture and give it to me. Okay, so you're gonna take 2 passport photograph, and that cost me $20 at Shoppers Drug Mart. Bear in mind, like I said in this video, I'm gonna be giving you the cost implication of everything as I go. Okay, then towards the end, I'm gonna do a recap of the total amount that was spent on this trip. All right, so the next thing you need is a self-addressed Canada Post envelope. Okay, so when you submit your old passport, and obviously when you're done with the new passport and your capture, they want to send it to you, right? So at that point, they don't want to start reaching out to you to say, hey, send XYZ amount of money for us to ship it to you. No, right? So they want you to come to the embassy with a self-addressed envelope, meaning you go to Canada Post and you just tell them you want a self-addressed envelope. They know what that means. So they're just going to take your address and print it on that envelope, and then you take it with you to the embassy. And so when your passport is ready, they are going to ship it to you in that envelope. But of course, you are going to pay for it. That's why it's called a self-addressed envelope. So the cost of that, as of when I did it, was 10 Canadian dollars before tax. Okay, so once you get the 2 self-addressed envelope, then the most important thing, because in the email it is written in red, is your $50 admin fee, 50 Canadian dollars admin fee for the embassy. So you're going to take it to the embassy in form of a money order, right? So you also, once again, go to Canada Post, Shoppers, your bank, go anywhere and say that you want to get a $50 money order. So they're just going to ask you who you want to address the money to, and then you say the Nigerian High Commission, Ottawa. So once you tell them that, they're going to give you a money order. I actually vlogged everything that I did on that trip to prep, and also all the other things I did in a vlog, which I'm going to link right here. So feel free to watch the vlog to see what the money order looks like, to see what the self-addressed envelope looks like, and other things that I got in preparation for this trip. Okay, so back to where we are. So you're going to get a self-addressed envelope, and you're also going to get your money order. So Canada Post took a service charge of $8.50 for the $50 money order. So that brought it to a total of $58.50 before tax for everything money order. Okay, so those are the requirements that you need to take to the embassy to renew your passport. Now, also one last thing to note is that you need an alternative ID card. Okay, so for example, if your means of identification was your international passport, bear in mind that you are going there to drop your passport. Okay, so you're going to need another form of ID, especially if you flew to Ottawa. If you are driving, that's okay. You might get away with not having any other ID apart from your driver's license or anything. However, if you took a flight, you will need your ID. So please make sure that you go with your alternative passport if you have another passport, or better still, your PR card if you have a PR card, or like your study permit or your work permit, essentially any other form of identification aside your international passport. Okay, you want to avoid stories that touch. All right, that being said, I'm going to talk about the process lining up to you arriving in Ottawa. The first thing you want to do is book your flight, or you book your train, or you book your bus. Basically sort out your logistics. Like I said, everybody in Canada has to go to Ottawa to renew their passport. So it means that if you're coming from Alberta, you're coming from Vancouver, and you know, anywhere in Canada, you're going to have to find your way to Ottawa. So if I went from Toronto, so I took the bus. So some people go through via rail, and also obviously you can fly there. Okay, so I went with the Red Arrow bus. So if you watch the vlog, you would see, you know, what the bus looks like, and you know how I navigated the entire thing. And I booked a return trip. Each way was like $89 plus tax, and I also paid like $10 for priority seating, so I could sit by the window. So it was a total of $89 one way, and altogether it was approximately 180 Canadian dollars for the bus. Okay, so after I sorted that out, now because my appointment was on a Friday, which was very intentional so that I could take Friday off, I wanted to sort of like explore Ottawa, right? Because that was my first time in Ottawa. It just makes sense to see what was going on, you know, in the place. So I went ahead to book 2 nights at a hotel close to the embassy. So, which brings me to this point. When you're booking your hotel, right? Some people make the trip in one day, right? You can go from your house. Some people drive first thing in the morning in time for their appointment, okay? If your house isn't far, if you're in Toronto and you want to drive 5 hours, you might have to leave your house like 3 a.m., okay? But I mean, why do you need that stress? So if you want to stay over for like a day or two to sort of explore Ottawa, then this video is also for you. So I booked a 2-night stay. All right, so I got there on Thursday night, because obviously my appointment I chose 10:30, but also I've been told that the Nigerian embassy doesn't follow the time, so it's a case of first come first serve. So to be able to get there early enough, I needed to get there a night before. Okay, so I booked a hotel close to the embassy, and it's called the Business Inn. Once again, in the vlog I did a room tour, you know, showing you what the room looks like. Okay, so I booked a 2-night stay at the Hotel Inn. Because I booked sometime close to Valentine, which is like February 10th, the prices were, you know, jacked up, so it was like 130 Canadian dollars per night. So essentially my entire hotel cost plus taxes and XYZ charges came up to about 303 Canadian dollars for my stay. So I was going to stay there Thursday night, Friday night, check out on Saturday at 12 p.m. right, put my box in the reception, and you know, still continue my tour around town and leave with the 6 p.m. bus to Toronto. Okay, so that was the itinerary that I wanted to work with, and so I booked 2 nights. All right, so the entire hotel cost, like I said, was $303.50. So if you're coming from other provinces and you want to consider spending a night at least, just so that you don't get to the embassy late, because I met someone that her flight was cancelled and delayed and all of that stuff, despite booking, you know, the hotel for a night before. She ended up checking in at about 4 a.m. in the morning because her flight was delayed and all of that hotel, I mean, all of that airport nonsense, right? So I mean, that's for somebody that even booked a night before. So anything can happen at the airport. You don't want to miss your appointment. Okay, so please consider getting to Ottawa at least a day before or a night before, so that you can get to the embassy in time. So for me, that was my hotel cost, and thankfully for me, a friend of mine was literally living 3 blocks away from the hotel, right? So he was my guide throughout Ottawa. Like I said, also you'll find all that juicy stuff in my vlog. Okay, so when you're choosing your hotel, you want to make sure that you consider proximity to the embassy, because like I said, the Nigerian embassy doesn't follow time. So when you're booking your appointment, if you book at 12:30 p.m. and someone books at 7 a.m., someone books at 8 a.m., it's a case of first come, first serve. So do yourself a favor by getting there a night before, okay? So after you've booked your hotel, everything is sorted, you're good to go. Now, what do you need for that day? So I went during it was February, it was winter, but because the weather was getting great in Toronto, I mean, we started wearing winter boots at that time. I assumed it was going to be business as usual in Ottawa, and I made a huge mistake. So I didn't go with my winter boots. I didn't go with, okay, I only went with a winter jacket, but like the ice was crazy. First of all, they don't clear the ice in Ottawa, okay? So it was like we were doing sliding competition on ice. It was crazy. I couldn't walk 3 blocks from my hotel because it was icy, right? And thankfully it snowed the next day, so it was slightly better. And I only went with sneakers, and so I was just like skedaddling on the ice, okay? So please, if you're going in the winter, you want to get adequate clothing. Thankfully, I met a very amazing person in the hotel while I was having breakfast on that day, and I just greeted her because I saw that she was Nigerian and was also a Muslim, and turns out that she was also going to the Nigerian embassy, right? Thankfully, she had a very good winter boots, so I was literally holding on to her till we got to the Nigerian embassy, which was like 5 minutes walk away from the hotel. Once again, proximity. So I planned to get there at about 7:30 or 7:45 tops, because the embassy opens at 9 a.m. okay? So you get to the embassy as early as we can, because we got there at about 7:50, I think. I wasn't with my phone, right? But we got there about 7:50, and people were already lined up. I think we were probably like number 15 at about that time. So you want to get there early, essentially, regardless of what time you picked in your appointment. Unfortunately for us, it was cold. Like, there were children on the queue that were shivering. And I mean, the Nigerian way, the embassy didn't as much as even open the door for us to get in and get some warmth. So we were outside in the cold. So you might want to get all, like, dress for the weather, essentially. Maybe even dress more, okay? If it's cold, normally double your shoe, because you're going to be outside for a couple of hours depending on how early you get there and how long you stay on the queue, okay? So dress for the weather. So when you get there, you're gonna queue up, and when it's 9 o'clock, you would assume that they would open the door. News flash, the officials started getting into the office at about past 9, and then they started calling people in at about 9:30. okay? So bear in mind that we stood out there for like an hour 30 minutes. So at 9:30, we went in, right? And there's a guy at the entrance who's gonna check all your documents, like all the requirements that I read out earlier. He's gonna check the requirement and see that you have everything before he even allows you to go in, okay? So when you then go in, you're gonna sit somewhere and you're gonna be given a number, right before you enter. So if you're a lady and you're going with your phone and your purse, there's gonna be lockers for you at the entrance. They're gonna give you the key to the locker so you can put in your things, because the only thing you're going in with essentially is your documents, right? So once you get there and you're seated, it was pretty fast actually. So I just didn't see why they made us suffer outside for nothing, okay? Because there was enough space we could have gotten in to get some warmth. Nigeria will Nigeria you. So we got in, we sat down there, they called us, looked at our documents, put the old passport in the envelope, and then we sat down and you wait to be called in to do your capture. Once you're done with your capture, you drop your envelope somewhere, and that is the end. When I went, I was told that the timeline for completion was 3 weeks. To my surprise, they shipped it in 10 days. Like, I did the capture February 10th, and as of February 22, it was already shipped to Canada Post. Canada Post took their sweet time because my friend that was in Vancouver got her passport earlier than me. So that was a Canada Post problem. But essentially the embassy shipped out the passport in 10 days. crazy. I heard that people that did in December were still waiting in February and they hadn't gotten, but hey, mine took like, essentially took like 3 weeks altogether by the time I got it. So it was fast at that time. So the one thing that I want to call out is your NIN. There are a lot of people, at least of the people that went ahead before me, there were at least 5 people that had the issue of NIN. So it was either a case, because before they do your capture, the first thing they're going to do is check your NIN, see that the name corresponds with the name on your application form, right? So for some people, it was a case of wrong spelling of the name or wrong date of birth that doesn't correlate with what was registered, what the NIN was registered with, right? And there was a particular girl that said she had tried to change her name. She got married or something like that. She had tried to change her name like 3 different times and she was not able to do it. The last time they told her they had done it, and then she got to the embassy and it wasn't done, and then she flew all the way from Alberta or something like that. So she was fuming. They were trying to call people in Abuja to see if they could fix it for her. But essentially, you want to save yourself all of that stress, right? Make sure that your details on your NIN corresponds to your current details, like what is on your passport, right? So please, if you can verify that information before you go there, do yourself that favor. Because if you have to go there and then they say, oh, sorry, we can't capture, like, all of that money is wasted. Your flight money, your accommodation money, everything wasted. So do yourself a favor, double check your NIN and make sure that it is good. So one thing that I applaud them for is they didn't ask for anything extra, in the sense that everything that they had said in the email that you should bring is what you need to go with. Okay, so follow everything in that order. I'm going to do a recap right now of the documents that you need to go with, just so you don't have to keep reminding. Okay, so the first one you need to go with is your printed copy of your passport interview invitation. That email you get confirming your appointment, you print that out. Okay, then second of all is your passport application form. When you're done filling your form and you're done paying, print it out. Then your payment slip and your acknowledgement slip. Once again, once your payment is done, make sure you print and save those documents. Okay, then your old passport and a photocopy of the biodata page of that same old passport. Also 2 current passport photographs that can be taken in any photo studio, provided that it follows the Nigerian passport standard, which can be found online. Number 5, you need a self-addressed Canada Post envelope, which also must be done in Canada Post. Okay, then you're gonna need your $50 money order for the administrative fees, which also can be done in Canada Post or at any bank or any financial establishment of your choice. So those are the requirements for renewing your passport. So as a sidebar, like I said, I was going to give a full breakdown and total amount that I spent on this trip. Okay, so first off, obviously the application fee was 200 Canadian dollars. The money order was $58.50 in total before tax. The self-addressed envelope was $10. The passport photograph was $20 before tax. The hotel fee was $303.80 for 2 nights, and the bus fee round trip was approximately $180 for the entire trip. For food, the hotel that I stayed in had free breakfast. I ate breakfast at the hotel, and I only spent $55.93 on food, because my first night there, my friend that stays in the area, got me dinner, and so I didn't have to pay for that. But the second night, I took care of dinner for both of us, and that was $55.93. The last day, that was on Saturday when I left, I didn't eat anything. Okay, I had breakfast, but like I didn't buy any food out of pocket. The weather was shit, so we just went around. Like I said, all of the juicy info will be in my Ottawa vlog, so feel free to watch it out to see the activities that I did. So the money I spent on food was $55.93. I bought Starbucks coffee for $6 during the trip to Ottawa. Transportation cost, meaning Uber from my house to the train station, from the train station in Ottawa to the hotel, from the hotel back to the train station, and from the train station in Toronto to my house. The entire logistics was $50.75, right? I went to the Canadian Museum of Nature. I didn't pay for that. Once again, my very amazing friend paid for that, but if I were to pay for it, it would be $17.50 to go in. Every other activity that I did was free. Obviously, I just walked to House of Commons to take pictures and walked around Ottawa downtown. I didn't pay anything for bus. I just went around. So the total for my transportation was $50.05, and that brings it to a grand total of $884.50. So that was the entire amount that I spent on this trip. So that is for me going from Toronto to Ottawa. So logistic costs would differ by province, by location. So feel free to slot in that in your budget. And also, if you want to spend a night instead of 2, if you don't want to explore the town, that's okay. Feel free to take that out of your budget. But for me, that was the amount that I spent. So to recap, make sure that you choose a hotel that is close to the embassy, because you need to be there on time. And also make sure you choose a hotel that has free breakfast, so you don't get to pay for breakfast. And finally, dress for the weather. You don't want to be in the cold. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that you've learned everything you need to know about renewing your Nigerian passport, and you are ready to go explore Ottawa. Okay, if you enjoyed this video and you love this content and it has blessed you, essentially if you learned a thing or two for this video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions concerning this, and I'll be happy to reply to your comments. So I'll see you in the comments and see you in my next video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please click the subscribe button. Okay, have a safe trip. Bye.